Hi, and welcome to the Tired Witches podcast. I'm Olivia.
And I'm Ashley.
And today we have a very special guest. Today we have the one and only incredible Chloe Walsh! Yay!
We're so excited to have her. It is like 2 o'clock in the morning where we are. Chloe, what time is it for you?
It's 10 to 10 in the morning here, so 9:50.
Yes, we made some things happen, but we are so excited.
And we are so grateful for you to coming on to this podcast and just chatting with us all things your life and Boys of Tommen, and let's just go ahead and get right into it. So with your writing process, while you've moved over to traditional publishing, has your process changed because of that?
I find it a lot harder for me because when I was indie, I was highly motivated because I was like my own boss, and I knew when I was writing that I could get this out really fast to my fans, and I want to please people, and I always took my fans, I call them my friends, like most of them from the Clovers. I took you on a journey with me, so I was like, guys, you have to see this. So I was working really hard to get it out super fast for everyone, and then trad is so slow. Everything goes so slow, and I'm like, it's not good for, like, I've ADHD as well, so it's like I can't cope with it, and
yes.
I'm like, I cannot cope with it because I'm like, I can do this in 2 months. Why can't you? But then it's a total different world. It's so much more difficult for them. But as an indie who had I had 25, 26 books under my belt, so I couldn't figure out how it took so long. And they're like, yours is going really fast. Some people's can take a year and a half to get published. And I'm like going, fuck that. I couldn't cope with the waiting. But yeah, that is, and I'm mortified about that because I know my readers know that I was always like a bang.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So
Joey's releases were magic. The way that you were able to do that like that.
I was dropping 6 books a year.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? And my books have never been little books. Do you know what I mean?
That's what I was going to say. Have you had to cut because you're in traditional play? Have you had to cut?
Oh, yeah. Well, not with releasing, but with taming, yeah. Yeah, there was.
Yeah, that's what I thought, because there were parts where I felt like you had more to it, and then it was pulled.
And that's, you know what, I have to take a lot of responsibility for that too, because I didn't really know how to navigate it.
Yeah,
it was new, fresh waters.
It was really scary for me. I didn't and I wasn't sure. Now, don't get me wrong, the people I was dealing with, they're absolutely lovely, but they didn't know me. I didn't really know them at the time, and we're trying to figure out what we're all
combination chemistry together.
Yeah, it takes a while. Even as an indie, when you're trying to find say editors, proofers to work with, you mightn't gel with the first few. You have, and I'm a very complex person, in the sense you're dealing with not just a writer who we can be fairly weird anyway, but a person with I have ongoing mental health, so I can go literally I'd say I'm not easy to work with. Not that I'm aggressive or mean, I'm a crybaby. And I go hide.
I'm the same.
And I have the ostrich effect, head in the sand, hide,
No, I'm the same.
He's the opposite, and my husband has bipolar disorder, and he's the opposite, where he does have the extreme moods. But then he'll be able to come back and be like, I kind of should have.
That's my ones. I'm very steady at the moment, but my extremities, I could write a book in 4 days, no sleep, everything's going. If you listen to the Clover, if you ever were in hear some of the Clovers talk to you, I could come on the the 1st of January and be like, guys, I have an idea, and come back on the 4th. Okay, I didn't sleep for 4 days, but here's the book. You know what I mean? And then I crash.
It was insane. Insane.
And then I could crash, and I could be no one will see me for 6 to 12 weeks because I'm literally dead inside, and I'm just like a zombie. So I get the crashes a lot more than the highs, because I'd be type 2. But my depressive episodes are shocking, you know what I mean? But but I used to fuel on it. But then the one thing is, I never let it affect my family. No matter how bad I ever was, I was able to get out the bed and stuff and get them, all that. But I have a brilliant.
Well, as a mom, I get that.
You get it, no matter what. But like, no, it's not fun. And then on top of that, it's also really scary to go back into a Tommen book because it's like I'm cutting myself open.
Yeah.
And it's scary to get back in that like it's really scary to go back into that headspace, because when I'm in it, it's really hard to come back out, and the drop is terrible.
Yeah.
That sounds so weird, but I bet there's people that
I understand.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I said, I have my husband, and my husband is a YouTuber, so he's in the limelight, and he's constantly, and he's a people pleaser, so if he sees a negative comment, he will dwell. That sits with him for so long, and I have to, like,
I'm the
talk
same
him down
way.
from it. I'm like, no, you know, like, can't let these people get to you. But he really internalizes it, and he's been doing this for 10 years, you know.
It's like self-harm, isn't it? It's like you've taken away the blade and you're using the comments as your razor.
Yes,
you are like,
he would love that.
You know?
He would love that.
That's what it is, because I think anyone, like, you know, with long-term mental health, we've all been through a stage where you're, whether it's physically or not, we all go through self-harm. It could be a matter of like promiscuity, in the sense where you're putting yourself in dangerous situations. It could be where you're driving super fast on purpose because you're reckless, or you could be cutting the shit out of yourself. And I think when you get to our age, you kind of learn how to control those impulses, and then you end up taking on the hatred from online trolling and stuff, and you're letting that cut you deeper than any knife can. But like, things are looking a lot better for me, because I, like, you know, when I first got Trad published, I was in a bad spot, you know, after the twins and everything. I didn't know what I was doing, and then I was very much okay, and I didn't really, you know, voice my opinions on things and stuff. And then when I actually decided to voice my opinions, I realized people they're actually willing to listen, and it was great. And then so you can see the difference between taming and releasing, where I actually got plucky, you know, and now it's good. Like, with my mental health goes, lads, it's like a yo-yo. So when I go wrong, I go missing, as in like from the book world, and they can't contact me, even the trads and stuff. I just go missing. Like, I literally have to do that to kind of recover and bring myself back into a steady situation. And I'm on, like, because it's very scary, because, you know, Ashley, you were in the Clovers, how nice and sweet the little bubble was, and everything was sunflowers and rainbows,
it
and
was
everything.
such a different world.
And next minute, then I was thrust into this like portal of like kind of like, I don't know what to say, fame or whatever it is, and it's so scary for a person who never wanted it. I just wanted to write my stories and feed my family. That was it. Like, you know,
I get it.
And
I don't like conflict or anything, so anytime I get negativity, I'm like, I'm not recording anything or filming anything. It does hurt.
You like, I'm like there's a saying, a bipolar bear, where you hibernate. Like, that's pure me. Like, I literally, I have to, but like, I think I've gotten tough, but I'm actually able to actually watch videos now without like falling apart, because I think I was like, oh my God, lads, it couldn't have come at like, it's a blessing, but it came at the worst time because of like Connor and stuff. And then I was just after having Paddy, and I was thrust back into writing a book, and I was still grieving Connor, and it was a mess. And then I was just like clinging to anyone who'd be kind to me. And like, I was agreeing to things that I probably shouldn't have agreed to, just because people were being nice to me, you know, because I'm one of these people, I want you to like me. I like you, like me, you know what I mean? That kind of thing. And then I kind of toughened up. I saw the ugly side of life. And then I kind of realized, okay, they're not all going to like me no matter what. And that's a hard pill to swallow, isn't it? When you're a person, when you're like a people pleaser. And you spend your whole life trying to, like, because like that's all comes from like my fucking childhood traumas and all that shit, where you're trying to, you want to give everyone everything, and like say all the right things, be nice, because you want them to like you. And then all of a sudden, when it's taken away, oh my God, it was such a kick in the teeth, you know. And then I was like, what did I do? I didn't know. And it hurt so bad. It just went from there. And then you get to the stage, I've learned that like, no matter what I do, people they're going to be like, I know I have massive supporters, and thank God for that, because I'd be fucked otherwise. But there's like no matter what I do, there's going to be someone have a problem with it, and I just had to learn how to accept it, which took me a long time, you know,
And
because I'm
someone's
like,
always going to, you could come on here and you could say something. I don't keep my mouth shut. You know, I'm very blunt, but
you
it's
speak your
usually when I'm
mind.
pushed to it. But it's usually when I'm pushed to it, you know? I like, if you're gonna relentlessly DM me hate and threaten me, or my cats, or, you know, my
Your
husband.
cats. Oh
Yes,
my god.
you know,
Yes,
like,
they
I'm
went
gonna
that
snap.
far.
They went after my cats. Like, I was like, who does that, number one? Like, but that's, you can say what you want about me, but my husband or
That's
my
how
cats, like,
that's how I feel about my kids.
yeah.
That's
Yes.
See?
that was my turning point. It was the posts and the tweets and like
Yeah.
the pictures they took from my private Instagram of
Mm-hmm.
Connor. And that was my turning point, and it broke something in me, lads. And then when I built myself back up, I've definitely built a resilience to it. But I'll never be one of these people who will be able to, like, everything I want to say, I do it on paper. You know what I mean? Because I've got that, you know, fear.
Well,
I
you
wish I
don't
was.
owe anyone anything.
No,
And
100%.
the behavior that has come out of this, I'm still in shock.
I
think
do
people
think it's
have,
better than it was. I do think it's not as severe as it was, but yeah, it's scary. And the thing where they were giving out about millennials reading the books, I wrote the books as a millennial to remember what it was like to be like, because I'm not writing as like a 35-year-old writing about it.
pervert on teens.
I'm writing about my
That's
16-year-old
that's what
self,
I
you know.
that's what I told people. I said, you know, the hate that I'm getting for reading this, when it's nostalgia for me. It takes me back.
It's in our era of teens, you know what I mean? So like if you're thinking of like Hughie is 38 today, Johnny's whatever, like they're all grown up. Like
Exactly.
it's all about our age, do you know what I mean? Like
Right.
Shannon is my age. Shannon, and like I'm 1989. I based them all on the years
Yes.
I went to school, you know. But
Yes,
yeah,
I'm a
absolutely.
1990 baby, so I'm right behind you. I'm a 1990.
I'm October, so I'm just shy of
Oh,
the
I'm
90s.
February, so we're like right there.
Yeah.
I would have been in school with Tig. I'm 92.
Oh, you're
Yes.
baby.
Yes.
With you coming back to social media and whatnot, do you have a good support group?
Yeah, that like I have Lexi runs the social media side of it, and then I think like I feel so sorry for her. I think I know
She's gotten so much hate. The things I've read on
she's
Bookstagram,
such
I'm just like, guys, leave her
she's
alone.
so protective of me because
Yes.
she's in the DMs. I've no access to that account because it's insane.
I'm
But
sure
like
it's crazy, yeah.
yeah, so she's in them DMs and she knows me. Like I'm chatting to you guys, she knows who I am. So then she's reading them and going, you know, getting upset on my behalf, like because that's her. I'm her friend, and like so she can get snappy, but like in comments and stuff. And but if you saw what she's dealing with, you don't, you know, she's human. People can push you into showing the worst side of yourself.
Yes,
You know what I
and
mean?
And I
that's what it
straight told him, I
was.
was like, I showed them all the DMs. I was like, people are DMing me, telling me they're gonna come to my house and kill me. Like that's at a certain point, like I can't constantly put up with that daily.
Yeah, you can't. But then, see, this is what upset. Like, she's like one of my closest friends, and like we met through this. Like, I hired her, and then I realized I love you, you know. And like we're totally opposite. Like she's like I'm a Catholic Irish person, and she's like totally like, you know, witchy vibes and all that, and she's in Florida, and like we just get on so great together because I'm very open-minded to anybody else's, any perspective that's not similar to my own. I'm happy to learn about it, and I'm also happy to change if I think someone else has a better idea of something. But like we get on so well, and she's just fired up. She's like Mama Bear protecting me, you know, and that's what it is. But like, if I didn't have her, I probably wouldn't have come back. So like, for all the people that give out about her, she's probably a massive reason of why we got Releasing 10, because she was the one pumping me and, you know, defending me and
She's
like
a warrior for sure.
telling me, even when stuff was really bad online, she was telling me like, there's nothing, you're absolutely perfect, because she knew that's what I needed to hear at the time. And then it was really bad. At one stage, I was getting really bad, and I was like, "Am I really the most hated daughter?
As long as I'm not the number one."
Yeah,
And I was
right.
like, you know, most people would be like, "Oh my God, no, you're amazing." And she's like, "No, I think you're just one shy."
Oh my God.
You know. But she
you
knew I
need
could.
that. You need that friend. You need that.
Yeah, you need that friend.
Yes.
She knows when to protect me, and then she knows when I'm strong enough where she can, you know, tell me what's what, you know. And then I have Nikki. She's like my best.
I remember
friend.
Nikki. Yeah.
She's like my ride or die friend. Like, she's after talking me off the edge so many times, and we met over her reading Kyle and Lee. That's how it happened.
I love that.
Yeah. So we met in 2014, and we've been like besties, and she's actually coming to work for me now from the 1st of next month on. So she'll be helping me more with the emails and all that, so that I'm on top of things.
Yeah.
So that's great, because I trust her with my life. Like, you know, she's that kind of person. And she's respectful and kind. She's very like me, you know. She's never going to say anything that's going to hurt anybody, and she's very diplomatic, as in like she can navigate a situation even if everyone's going, "You're a bitch," she'll be saying, "Well, I understand your point of view." You know what I mean? She can do things.
Chloe.
Well, and you need people on your team and in your corner that you trust 1,000%.
Yeah. So those, and then I have
those scales, you know.
And then I have my agent, and she's unbelievable, lads. She's just like the bees, like she's like my soulmate from across the pond as well. And there was a lot of people getting on to me at the time, and I picked her because she had an Irish surname. I was like, oh my God, she's half Irish. Her dad's a Paddy. It's Irish, like, so it was actually fate, like, and she's a good friend to me as well. And then you've the trads, like you'd be friendly with everyone and stuff, but like that's more of a business relationship, whereas I would consider Lexi, Nikki, and Caitlin, even though I know it's business, there's a personal friendship there as well. So those three girls will be my core, if you get it. And then I have my girls from the Clovers, like Fiona and Raina and all them, and I don't see them that much anymore because of being offline, but they always were down for me till the end, like, you know.
Oh, for sure.
You have those diehards, you know, and it was never.
I just remember from the Clovers, like they were very active as much as you in the chat,
and they were protecting. Like and it was so sad because Fiona has a daughter, and I mean they stole pictures of Fiona's kids as well and targeted her. You know what I mean? So it was like basically isolating me.
To me, I'm not surprised.
I'm amazed they stayed friends with me because it was causing them personal issues to be my friend, but they stayed, and I'll never forget that. Like, I'm loyal. So if I'm not in any cliques or groups of other kind of like authors, because I'm a bit of a lone wolf. I'm kind of like, if you're down with me at the beginning, I'll ride with you throughout. I don't need any, you know.
That's how my personality's always been. I was never part of a big clique of friends.
Yeah, I'm kind of like if I'm not good enough for you at my worst, then I'm
exactly.
I'm
you don't
deserve
me at my best. Yeah, for sure.
That's it. You know, and like I remember I was at one signing a few years ago before Tommen, and I was always like a pretty popular author. People always I'd always have the big line and all that, and I went into the lunch break room, and it was like school lads, and I went in, and all the other authors were like sitting together, and I was totally alone, and I'm holding my tray, and no one was like saying come over. And then Tilly Cole of all people, she was like, you can sit with me. And I was like, thank you so much. And I sat with her. But it was like, I was so scared. I'm Irish in the middle of all, like, so I was like, there was no other Irish authors there. They were all nice, like, don't get me wrong, but they all had their established friendship groups, and that's fine. But I was like going, oh my God, this is fucking awful. Where are the Clovers? Because I wanted to sit with the readers.
I get it. Like, I have never been to a book signing or anything like that because I'm afraid. Like, I'm afraid to, like, be out actually in the book space and meet these people in person.
It's actually, I think it's actually really nice, but it's terrifying if you're not mad social, do you know?
Yeah.
I'm not social at all. Like, I have a hard time
But you're
being
not
around people for
afraid.
long,
But
but
you're
I'm
not
not afraid.
afraid.
That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Like, I don't look out. I'm like not seeking to go out and
Yeah,
have
and
like conversations with strangers,
I'm
but I
very
wouldn't mind it.
much my ADHD, I have a hard time having small talk with people.
Yes.
I need to have like real in-depth
You have to go right
conversation.
deep in. Are you one of these people?
Yes.
I'm one of these awful overshares, lads. I will drop all my
Nope, me
childhood
too.
trauma on you, and I'm like,
We call it trauma bonding, my husband and I, because he goes in and the first thing he does when he meets someone new is he's like, "So what's the worst memory you've ever had?" And I'm like,
I know. I'm like,
Oh,
that intrigues me. But like then like yeah, my daughter Eve is the same. She's like, I have no tolerance for that shit. She's like, I just can't be dealing with how's the weather. Like, I don't care about their weather. And I
Yeah.
yes.
I'm like, you just gotta pretend. She's like, I'm not pretending. I'm like, actually, I need to be like you, you know. But yeah,
But you learn those things from your kids too.
yeah, they teach you so much. Like, they actually do, and I think you actually learn a lot from animals too. Like, that's just my perspective. Like, I know it sounds weird, but you do. Like, I wish a lot of humans could be a lot more like animals, because like
For
a
sure.
dog. Like, look at dogs. They love you. Really, like, they
No matter
just.
what.
No
Well,
matter
I
what,
always
like
thought
that,
dogs have like the best judge of character. If a
didn't
dog
they?
doesn't like
Yeah.
you, that probably says something
Yeah,
about you.
like wasn't there that research thing done years ago where they studied the purest forms of love? And I could be wrong, but I think I heard it years ago. And the strongest bond of love is a mother to its child. The second strongest is a dog to its owner, and
I
then the
think I
third
saw that, yeah.
is husbands to wife. So a dog will love you more than your husband ever will. That's
Oh,
what I
for
took
sure.
from
You're
it.
bonded for life.
That's surprising. I could see that.
Like, that's pretty cool. Sorry, I'm a total rambler. I'm taking you
No,
off.
I
No, don't
love it.
worry.
I'm such a
Gosh.
cat person, so my cats, number one, I
Yeah,
have them tattooed on me. But I told my husband, and we're on the show My Cat from Hell. I literally tell them, like, I will if someone breaks in the house, I'll be like, take my husband, but don't you touch my cats.
touch your
Like,
cat.
my bond to my
Ava,
cats are
yeah.
like my children, because are protective of me, and I feel like it's just a
I
different type of
know,
bond you can form with
but
them.
like there's some amazing cats out there. Did you see some of them where they rescue children? Like, they rescue
Yes.
their,
I've seen
like,
that, yes.
yeah, like Ava's 16 in April and she wants a Maine Coon. That's her thing. She's
Those are
begging me
big.
for, yeah, but like, why not? I'm like,
Yeah.
go on, girl.
Right?
She can terrorize Leonard around the place.
I love it. Oh my gosh.
But
I want a cat.
savannahs are illegal in Ireland, I think, at the moment. I don't think you can have a savannah. But I know one of our daughter, she has a couple of savannahs in Maine Coons, and they're gorgeous. And Ava sees them on my Instagram when I be looking through it, and she's like, "Ah, ma'am, we have to." And I was like, she's such a good kid. I'm like, "Yeah, girl, we'll go for it. We just won't tell Dad until the cat is here, because
Yes.
he's not."
You won't have a choice to say no. It's already there.
Animals love him, but he's just not. He's just. I think it's because he never grew up with pets, so
Sure.
he hasn't a clue. And like, all the animals are drawn to him, so they clearly sense he's good, but he has no idea what to do with them. He's like, there, like, just love them.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh
That's
my
like my
gosh.
dad, he was such like an he always didn't want us to have animals, but then
Yeah.
when we got them, we had goldfish, and when the goldfish died, he'd have little funerals for them.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
I was like, oh, but you didn't want any of them. I was like, you didn't want these animals, but he like
That's
then once they
usually
were
how
there.
dads are, aren't they? They're like the biggest, like, we don't need a pet, and then the pet is
And
always
then they
in
end
their
up being
lap specifically.
so loyal to them. Yeah.
Yes.
We had a dog, Toby, when we were growing up in the council estate, and we were on a bad patch of like an old rough patch at the time. I basically based my house on what like Shannon's kind of looked like at the corner of the street and all that. And I remember we did a little dog, he'd strayed into us. He was like, I think he might have been half Shih Tzu, but we adopted him anyway, and Toby we called him. And one day we could hear him barking and yodeling, and we looked out the window and there was people trying to rob the house. They were trying to break in and steal the oil tank, and he was running at them, and they kicked him over the wall, and he came back and he kept going, but he made so much noise that he scared them off and they ran away. And we took him to the vet and everything, and he'd have one of his testicles removed because they'd kicked his testicle up.
Oh,
Like,
no.
but he kept going. He kept
He
defending the
was like
house,
still fighting. Oh
you
my
know,
god.
and he was no bigger than like he's a Shih Tzu,
Little
and but
tiny.
he yeah
The
he
heart
made
of
it
that heart of a warrior.
heart of a lion, and he made so much noise that he actually freaked them out, and they drove off like in their van. But they were like, at the time, people were trying to siphon heating oil, like kerosene, out of oil tanks in the houses. Do you know, I don't know, because that's what they do. And yeah, he defended us and he saved the oil, and he lost the ball.
Oh.
Poor
Okay,
Toby.
so since you love animals so much, is it safe to say that you will not make us witness the death of Johnny's dog?
Yeah, no, I can't. We can't watch
Okay.
Suki's death
Okay.
because
Okay.
I was thinking it because she is old. Like she needs to. She's gonna
Well,
go soon.
people
But I
have
was like,
talked about that. They're like, Chloe's gonna kill this dog. Isn't she? And I'm
I
like,
can't do it because I think what we'll have to do is, you know, when you know that nice 4 or 5 year gap into the college years, she can you know, pass away peacefully in
yes,
that, so we don't have
off
to see it.
page. We don't
I
need
can't
to.
watch
Yes.
the dog die. I can't
No.
do it.
It ruins a movie for me. My husband won't, because he watches so much movies and whatnot
Yeah.
for his job. There's a website called Does the Dog Die that he checks before he
Oh, I know
watches a
that
movie with
website.
me.
Yes.
It's
It'll tell
really,
you
yeah.
if the animal dies in it or not, because it will
What
ruin a movie. I'll get up and leave. I'm like, I
the
can't.
one that really got me was the one with Will Smith, you know, and the
Legend.
oh
I Am
Jesus,
Legend.
that got me.
Oh,
That
yes.
dog was the best dog, like, and then to end up like that, I was like, no,
That was
fucking hate
awful.
that film now. Do you know?
That was
See, I've never
horrible.
seen it because I knew that happened, so I will never watch that
I had
movie.
to
It's
see that in
awful.
theaters. That was awful.
It's awful, and then like it's so unnecessary.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like we all have been, like, most people in the world have been through the death of a pet,
Yes.
and lads, that's scarring. Like, I don't want to read it.
Okay, well that is good to know. That's the one line you won't cross.
Yeah, I won't kill. No, Suki will not be passing away on paper. That will be, nobody will have to witness. There's 3 more before they go to college, so then I'm going to take a break for a while when I finish the 3rd one, and it'll be a happy for now. But I don't do these HEAs. It's not me. If you've read any of my books, I've never been.
I've read them all. I know
Because
how you. Yes.
I don't believe in it. I believe you have to earn your happy ever after, and it's a daily process, and you're not going to get it for like 50 years of happiness.
Yeah.
Like, you have to earn it. It's just not. But it gives me a break to do other things as well.
Absolutely.
Because you know, I love paranormal, and I love mad wild shit. Like I love all different things.
Absolutely.
But there would be no point in releasing anything other than Tommen at the moment, because the fandom is so mad.
Sure.
Like, you know,
It's at
and it wouldn't be fair on the readers.
For sure.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be fair on the readers either to, like, oh, I'm going to write something. They're like, fuck that shit. You come back here and write.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm desperate to get it done because I need the break from.
I'm sure you do.
It's like I just need to be able to do something. I love Tom and I'd stay there forever, but it's not healthy for me because I'm reliving really bad things that I went through.
Sure. Yes.
You know. And then, like, I know people would be like, thinking I was a sellout going trad and things like that. And, like, I totally get it. But, I mean, I grew up in absolute poverty, like Johnny and, or Shannon and Joey kind of poverty. And to be able to buy my own house for my kids when I've been like, I'll take that. I'll take it. So my kids are safe and I can break the, what's that called when you're breaking the cycle? Yeah. So I broke the generational cycle for my kids. Now they own their house, and you know what I mean? By the time because Hughie's very intuitive and he's going to discover a lot of stuff throughout the books, and he's a very trustworthy narrator, if you get me, of what's going on. So, and if you cap it, Gibsie's the only character who doesn't go backwards in time. He always goes forward in his books, which is quite nice. But he's going to absolutely, like, lose his shit once he gets, like, you can see he's like a ticking time bomb. He's ready to blow. Like, once he goes to school and he realizes, he walks into class and stuff and he sees everybody knows, and he has to go into the changing rooms and the lads are being weird with him. He's going to lose blow a head gasket.
Rightfully so. Rightfully so.
Absolutely.
And people were like, oh, you didn't represent Gibsie's abuse storyline as well as you did with Lizzie. Firstly, I relate to Lizzie because I went through a lot of what Lizzie went through. It's very hard to depict it from the opposite gender. But secondly, Lizzie's was meant to come first. It was meant to work in such a way that it would free the narrative for Gibsie to go batshit. Instead, I had to have it was almost like a fillerish book. You get me?
For sure. Yeah.
You get me? Even though I love it, I love them, but I just don't think it showed what the other books showed. It's my disappointment, not the characters. I adore them. Mm-hmm. It's just out of them all, that book disappoints me. If you know.
So I don't know. I'm newer. I don't know anything. Was it your idea to shut down the Chloe Clovers Facebook?
I think it was done. I think it was done for my mental health, and because I think it went out of control with the amount of haters infiltrating
this was around when the Taming 7 arcs went out, I think.
Yeah, because Clovers was fine, but they were able to go back 10 years and get pictures of my kids, because I shared everything. So there was my wedding photos, my pictures of my kids, personal conversations I'd have, and then they'd twist them.
And that's what they do. They're brilliant at that. Yeah.
So it was safer for my the decision was taken for my children's sake, because there was so many posts we actually could not, and not even just my kids, my readers' kids, because we raised children together, and to think I would when Fiona's pictures were stolen that time, I was in an awful way, because I'm this is my friend and her child also being. And what have we ever done? Just talked about books. That's it. It's just books,
Well, so I've always said the irony is not lost on me with this series, that you made
it's anti-bullying.
Yes, anti-bullying, and that is exactly what it's brought.
That's what kills me, is because I wrote the books for that purpose. I wanted to talk about the things that people don't like to discuss, the things that aren't polite at the dinner table. I wanted to show the ugly side of life, because, being honest, that's usually what most people are living. We're not all, I wanted to put mental health in front of everyone, and domestic violence and alcoholism and addiction and all the nitty gritty things that people don't like to talk about, but that are everywhere. I wanted to just put them right in front of you and go, this is it, look now, And I was trying to help with the books, kind of like a self-help in a way, and I got you saw what happened,
someone's always gonna, as someone whose husband is in this space, someone is always going to have something to say, and something negative to say. It's just an unfortunate product of the society we currently live in.
And I think the whole reason I took it back to 2005 is because I was writing it so authentically. Do you know what I mean? I was literally, the reason it feels so real is because I'm remembering. You know what I mean? As I'm writing, I'm remembering what the classroom smelled like, what the weather was like, the rain on the window.
What it feels like reading it. Because for me, if I pick up a high school romance that takes place now, I can't relate. They're talking about TikTok and streaming, and I'm just I don't get any
I don't know those words.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know half the fancy things. That's what I think as well, though. I do think that's why Tommen appeals to the younger generation, because they're wow, because
nostalgia is very hot right now, especially the whole Y2K vibe.
Yeah, and nobody did it before. Do you remember, back?
Yes.
It was nobody was we have historical romances, we have Regal, we have all these, we've country westerns, but nobody was talking about 2000s when we were wearing the fucking caked in makeup and the
glitter
and the tiny
eyebrows.
Oh my god. And do you remember we used to have that fucking shimmery stuff? Do you remember you'd be covered in it
all over? Yes. The body glitter, you'd spritz, you have your friend sit there and spritz you with it.
Afraid of my own shadow. And my sister, we shared a room, and she had the stuff that would glow in the dark, the highlighter stuff. It was like a roller ball of it. You could just fucking cover yourself with it. Anyway, that bitch goes into my bedroom. I didn't know it, and she wrote "boo" on the wall. I knew nothing until I closed my eyes that night, and it's glowing on the wall. what? I nearly wet myself. I was screaming. And she was like,
sisters can be vicious. I have a little sister, and yes, they can be terrible.
She's brilliant though. But like, those are the days. And I can remember like, everything I wrote in the books, it happened. It's real. Like the rain, it was always fucking raining. We'd walk miles home from school.
Yeah.
Do you know, I can remember there was a game that they used to play at the disco called Beat the Slapper. Imagine that. And you go in and you had, what used to get off him? Was it a lipstick mark or something? And it was how many boys you could kiss. You won the pot of money. Like, beat the slapper. And girls were willingly engaging in that. Like, we were like, yeah, I'm the slapper. Woohoo! You know, like that was...
my gosh. Yeah, no, it was a wild time.
Yeah.
And that's why I love these arguments with these teenagers that are trying to tell me how it
didn't happen.
And I'm like, no.
Like, I was saying to you earlier, we had a wall at our disco. It was called The Wall. So you're at the disco, at the boiler room disco, and you could have the kiss, right? You could be shifting, you know, kissing with tongue, shifting.
Yes.
So you could be shifting on the dance floor, but that's just a polite shift, you know, where your arms on the shoulders and the hands on your hips, right?
Oh.
That one. But if you wanted to get friskier, you went to the wall, literally at the side of the dance floor, right? It's like a what you call those, a gym hall, basically, like in the dark. So you know the hall, so you're on the court dancing, and then you go against the wall for the wall. So then the girl will stand against the wall, the guy would stand in front of her, and then he'd start like going to town kissing, and like then the bouncers would come over with the torches looking in to make sure there was anything where it shouldn't be. Like, that was it. Like, and then if you were caught doing something really bad at the wall, like you were pulled apart, like pulling two dogs apart and taken into the stick room, and your mom and dad would be phoned to come and pick you up, and he could be trying to tuck himself in. Like, it was filthy. This was Ireland in the 2000s, because you have to understand, we were very much repressed from the Catholic Church. Like, we were like, we went from having condoms be illegal. I mean, divorce was illegal, and then you hit the late 90s, early thousands, and all of a sudden it was like the sexual revolution, and everybody was having fun, you know?
Oh, for sure.
And that was it. And like, you weren't called a slut if you were like, we all called each other names and stuff, but like, it wasn't a big deal to go out and kiss 4 or 5 boys on a night. It was actually quite normal. And then if you didn't kiss anyone, you were called a frigid. And they're like, oh, look at the frigid. Like, it's so twisted. Like, but that was life. It's crazy. Do you know? It's mad when you think about it.
Well, we didn't have social media back then to call us out.
The evidence was gone.
Hold us accountable.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So yes.
Those were the days.
I know. Had a little bit more freedom.
I know. I was saying to Walshy the other day, I was like, imagine if we were on camera, the stuff we used to get like up to now, like,
oh man,
like we'd be viral.
My friend group would have been cancelled so fast.
Yeah, like, I know. I hate this cancelling thing, lads, isn't it? It's
rough.
It's exhausting. And I feel like you're taking back your power by coming back to social media.
I think so. I think it's important for people to see who I am, because when they couldn't see me, it was a lot easier for people to make up stories about me.
Yes, for sure.
You know, and I mean, my loyal old readers from, you know, the OGs, and they were like trying to defend me, and they're like, she's really nice, you're saying lies about her, you know, and I felt they deserved a lot better than me just hiding away, like, you know. And I was like, I need to come back, because people are going to hate me either way, but like, I know the truth. I know who I am. I know who I'm not. And people that love me and are surrounded by me know me. And like, Lexi always said, she goes, like, if people stopped and chatted to you, they like,
oh, they love you. Your personality is contagious.
She's like, she's like, you're a total weirdo, but you're lovable. I'm like, thank you. You know, but like, I just think there's the world has lost tolerance for each other.
Yes.
Like,
yes,
and
absolutely.
And it needs to come back, and we need to just be spreading love, even though I know you get shit on every time you try. But we just have positivity, and that's why I keep putting out these Tommen books, because I'm trying to send out a nice sign, you know?
Well, that's what her and I have been trying to do. We go live weekly on TikTok just to talk about the series, and we have a pretty positive community that comes in our chat and everything like that, because we will give people the boot. The first sign of being negative, it's like, we don't want that here.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing that pisses people off on my Instagram, is I'm not in control of it before, but I never booted anybody, and I used to let everyone talk shit about me on my thing, and I'd never say a word, and Lexi won't take that crap. And then they're like, you know, it's a big change. She won't take it. She won't tolerate it. She won't have it. Whereas I used to, you remember the Clovers? They could come in, like the people that didn't like me, and they could like write pages of abuse about me, and I'd be like, I'm sorry, and you know, and I would just take it, and I didn't have to take it. And it's only now that I'm realizing these things. Do you know, like, you learn all, like, I'm 35 and I'm only figuring this out now.
So you had mentioned at the beginning of the summer how Boys of Tommen had started off as Finding Bev, and then it kind of evolved. So how did you take a side detour and like write the Broken series, Carter Kids, all of that before you decided to go back and do this?
So I wrote Finding Bev when I was hospitalized for like 6 months of, say, freshman year, which would be third year, junior cert year. And I was on suicide watch and everything, because my mental health was in the bin at the time. So I wrote Finding Bev, pen and paper, no computer or anything, and I drew a little cover and everything for it. But it was my most personal. It was the most personal story I've ever written, and I wasn't ready to share it with the world, because to be judged on your real life is a hard pill to swallow, and I was only a kid at the time, and I was just not ready for it. So then when I hit Broken series and stuff, the romance world, the indie romance world had exploded. And I was like, this is so much fun. And I had all these ideas. So I started writing the Broken series. I didn't have a clue what I was doing. I probably messed it up more than I was successful, but it worked for me. And then as I continued to write, I continued to gain confidence and gain readers and friends and followers. And then I think I got, by 2018, I'd like 20 something books out. And I had like a good revenue of income coming in. And I was there going, I was feeling kind of confident in myself at the time, and I was like, maybe it's time that I actually put this out here. But I was still scared, and I wasn't sure what way to go about it. And at the time, Ireland were doing really well in the rugby, and we'd won the Grand Slam, and I was like, oh, because I love rugby, I was like, fuck it, that's a great idea. I'm going to take some rugby, I'm going to take Bev, I'm going to put them together, and that's how it became. And I went for it.
How much of it changed when you started to sit down and decide to do it?
So at the start, the very first draft was called Wags of Rugby, and it followed Shannon and Johnny from like 13 all the way to their 30s. But it dragged on and on and on, and I knew it wasn't going to work. It basically followed them into adulthood, to parenting, kids and all that. So you'd see a lot of snippets and teasers around the place with Rory and Connor being their kids and stuff. That's from because I wrote the entire thing. And but then I just didn't feel like I was getting my entire message out there, because I wanted to open the eyes of people to like anti-bullying. I wanted to show mental health. I wanted to show kind of the things that people don't talk about. And I just didn't think Wags of Rugby was giving it, all of it. So then I kind of went back to the drawing board, and I created a little town of people, and I took a lot of my own personal experiences, my own friendships and all that kind of stuff. And I created Ballylagan, and I created the friendship groups, and from there I decided which characters were going to be with who, and which character was going to represent which issue. Say addiction was Joey's, bipolar was Lizzie's, do you know what I mean? And Shannon's was bullying, domestic violence, you know, and then I went from there, and I just I just went for it, and I literally based it in the early thousands, because I was Shannon's age in 2005, and it was like I was writing my own life down on paper, and that's what made it so realistic, because I was remembering things, and like I was remembering how it felt to be in a classroom, what it felt like, you know, to be sunbathing at the beach with your friends, how it felt when the sun was touching your toes and you're surrounded by the people you love and all that. And I was just like channeling it into Tommen. And
so when you planned this out at such an early stage, the couples that we see currently in the series, the Johnny Shannon, the Joey Aoife, the Claire Gibsie, and Lizzie Hughie, those were always the planned core couples throughout the series.
They were always the plan. Firstly, can I just say, they were always going to end up together from day one, Lizzie and
Thank you.
They were always going to end up together. Like
I saw the signs in Binding. I see the signs in Binding. Like, we did a whole breakdown. We're like, the signs are there.
Yeah, and like people saying, like, you know, oh, there's no, you know, chemistry, there's no this, oh, he said this, she said this. That's my whole thing. I'm really interested in writing perspectives and seeing, it's what intrigues me most about writing is showing how you can live in the same house and live two different lives all together, you know, and make Joey and Shannon, when, like they say, siblings actually never grow up in the same home with the same family.
Yes, absolutely.
So true.
And that's what I was trying to show. And then as the books unravel, you see Johnny's like lack of interest in his friendship group. You can see how he was, you know, overlooking things. Like he didn't even realize that Lizzie was traded with Katie. You know what I mean? He's just like, all right, same girl, you know? Like, and that sounds like, oh, that would never happen. But these things do happen. I have male friends who gave zero fucks, like, about like the only woman they would have cared about their friends being with was the one they said I do on the wedding day. Otherwise they wouldn't even bothered remembering the names. Do you know? And that was it. So it's all been set up from Binding, like, and do you not like that? Remember, there's a part in Binding where they're all moving seats. Do you remember Claire's
yes.
It's all there. It's just nobody's looking.
Oh, trust me, Chloe, I analyze this stuff because I read it in timeline order.
Yeah.
So I really look at those details.
We have broken this down. So
my God.
We are in it, girl.
That's what I was so proud about Lizzie for, is when she got back from hospital, she didn't weaponize it. She freed him. Yes. She was like, go, you can go. Yeah, because she had weaponized it a lot of times when she was manic, that she, you know, didn't even realize. And then when she came stable and she could see things clearly, like, it killed her to let him go, but she had to. And then, like, I think Taylor Swift's This Love is best song. I think the reason there's controversy over Lizzie and Hughie, there's like some people saying that they were different. It never was. They were always original. They were always to end up together. It's just I wasn't as verbal about it.
I've told people this. If you are so nervous about this, you need to read her Carter Kids series, because Hunter and Hope are my favorite. I love them so much.
And you know, that's what I'm always trying to show with these books. Like, Lizzie's done terrible things, but that's the person and the decision are you know, they're different. And I think that's why I write. It's so interesting to write complex characters with flaws. If everyone was perfect, it would be so boring, you know?
Well, that's what my argument has been for the people that are so adamant that Hughie and Katie were always supposed to be a couple. I'm like, no. Why would they seem happy and have their shit together in the 13 duet? That's boring. I don't need to read about that.
And like, if you go back to the original covers that I had made back in like 2018 or something, when the series,
yes, I remember those covers.
If you look at the covers, Hughie and Lizzie are together in their cover, and Feely and Katie are together in theirs. The only thing I changed was the Lizzie and Hughie's book was supposed to come before Gibsie and Claire's. That's the change in the series. And the length of them, I never intended them to be that long.
So with that, when you're writing this series and these characters, because you were so involved in the Chloe Clovers group, is there ever a moment where you've let something impact or influence how you write a character or change them because of what you're seeing the fans say or whatnot?
Yeah, like I've never let anyone impact me, but it has scared me off and slowed my writing. So that's the big problem. So it's like at the end of the day, it feels like when I'm writing it, it doesn't even feel like I'm in control. It's like I'm channeling something inside in me, like obviously the creativity to write the story. But the only thing that does is it just slows down the process because you put the doubt in the writer, you know? And even though, like, say somebody said something and I took it to heart and I decided to change a scene for it, and I did that, and I'm writing the book and I've changed the scene. I'll go another 10k into the book and I'm like, oh no, it's not going to work. Nothing's working now because it's messed the whole process up. So in the end, after wasting loads of time, I'll go back and I'll do my original thought.
Yeah.
And that's it. And I often, like, I live by the no guts, no story. That's, you know what I mean? And no tears in the author, no tears in the reader, you know, those things. And like, you just have to be brave. It's really scary.
Sure.
But like, you're just reaching, it's just the hope to reach the person that you were. Like, I had a really shitty childhood, kind of teenage years, very turbulent. And if I can reach kids that were in my position, oh my God, and give them a bit of hope, that's all I want, like, you know? And
absolutely.
by making it unsullied, it would be disingenuous.
Yes, I agree 100%. And, you know, you see that with releasing 10. While it was a controversial book in some aspects, it was also your biggest book to date, popularity-wise. And it's because people, it's the unfortunate reality. A lot of people can't identify with this story.
No, and I told people, because for the people that were negative after the book came out and said, this isn't realistic to have everyone in a friend group have this trauma. And my argument was, that is a privilege. That is an absolute privilege to think that all of your friends have nothing going on. Because that is what you've taught us with your writing and the different perspectives is they don't know what's going on with each other. So how can you sit there and say that's not realistic for a friend group?
That's true. And birds of a feather flock together, and you'll tend to find kids with trauma will naturally, like, be drawn towards other kids with like it's what happens. Like when I was a kid, I didn't want to be friends with the perfect girl. I wanted to be friends with the other fuck ups so that I wasn't as fucked up as them. You know what I mean? I wanted to feel included, and I could say something that happened to me. I'd be like, this happened, and I wanted them to be able to laugh it off, so I felt kind of normal. You know what I mean? So if I went, say, to a group of girls who had nothing really going on bad at home or anything, and I was like, oh lads, yeah, my dad walked out and my mom did it and all this, and I'd be like, ha ha, and they're all like looking at me. That would make me so uncomfortable. But if I was able to go to my friends that like are going through it, and they'd be like, you think that's bad? My dad did this, you know what I mean? And
we get that dark sense of humor.
But maybe things are different nowadays, but that's most definitely what it was like when I was going to school. We tended to just be drawn
you have to laugh it off,
and to be drawn to people that are going through similar things. It's like jocks are drawn to each other, like, because they're athletes, so why can't broken people you know,
that's usually what happens. The broken people come together and end up healing each other,
and you often see you often see with addiction, a lot of time people in recovery are very drawn to each other, like romantically and stuff, because they're seeing something in one another that they're not getting from other people. It's a natural human thing to be drawn to similar situations and people who are in similar environments to you, you know?
So I guess kind of this will tie back into when you were mapping out everything and planning things. How did you decide who was going to get each thing? Like, for example, Joey and Aoife, did you kind of always plan a teen pregnancy for them? Did you plan teen pregnancy for a couple, or did that just kind of come to you?
No, it was always going to be Joey and Aoife, because Joey needed AJ more than anything, even though it sounds, and it's controversial because people like disagree or whatever, but Joey needed his own baby because he needed that little person that was his and Aoife's, and it was not a part of Teddy, even though I know he adores the boys. He needed a separate entity, and it needed to be a boy because he needed to be able to
break
face
that
another
cycle.
boy. And there's 2 teen pregnancies in my family. I was a teen mom. I was pregnant as a teenager, and my brother, and his wife now, they were teen parents. So it's it's life. It happens.
My husband was a teen father, and I adopted my stepson. His mom's not part of the picture. So my husband is Joey Lynch. Our anniversary is actually January 7th.
No way. But
so I was so excited when I read that. It does happen. It's everyday life. And when I see that argument that it's not realistic, I'm like, well, no, that is also realistic.
I remember going to school. We had a baby boom back in the day. I mean, the amount of teen pregnancies, it was skyrocketing. I think teen mom and stuff definitely brought it down. But it was huge. I can remember a couple of kids having a baby that I remember the parents of the kid not being able to go into the pub after 9 o'clock because they were under 18. You know what I mean? It's crazy. But actually I have 3 teen pregnancies in my family. My stepsister as well had a teen pregnancy. So it's very prevalent. I came from a very poor area, where very low income area, working class people. And it was rampant back in the day, so I'd be a lawyer if I didn't have at least one of them having it, and it always had to be Joey,
Yes.
Especially back in the day, because you mentioned the show Teen Mom. I don't know how it was over there, but here in America, you wanted to be on that show. So people wanted to be
Teen Mom inspired a lot of American teen pregnancies.
Yeah, it's insane. I'm really lucky, with Walshy, we got pregnant, but we were together for ages, and we had our first daughter, and we just stuck it out. Do you know what I mean? And he's my best friend, because we were friends from first year. I met him in first year, and so I was one of the really lucky ones. So he was my best friend all the way up through school, and that counts. And then you'd see a lot of your friends that would have, had babies in school, and it just was with the wrong person, but you hear about the wrong person all the time. I wanted to show what happens when you get the right guy, and that's Joey, So that was.
And also, I think you're showing people, because a lot of people think even when you write this stuff, if a couple has a baby, that's it, the story's over. That's
oh God, no!
Most definitely not the case. Your story is just getting started.
Yeah, and another thing, not all, the way you see a lot of it's pictured around them fighting all the time, and they can't get on because of a baby.
Yes.
That's not necessarily always the way it works. A lot of people can, and they thrive on it, and they can really work together well, and it might just be the perfect situation for them.
Absolutely.
And that was another thing. I just wanted to, you could see how it didn't work for Teddy and Marie, and then you could see how it does work for Joey and Aoife,
Sure. Absolutely.
So that was kind of, I always like to show similar situations, but with different outcomes because of different mindsets.
Love those parallels.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
It's I always think of Joey and Hughie being so similar in their states of mind, but the difference is the way their parents, the money, he was brought up in poverty. Hughie was brought up in comfort and wealth. He had loving. I know Hughie had an issue. His dad has issues, but they were loving parents. And and then you had Joey, who grew up in absolute turmoil. They're both loyal as dogs. They both adore their sisters. They're both mama's boys. They're both desperately independent and trying to protect their families. And that's what and then because of situations and their environments, they've gone in two very different
definitely saw that reading R10. I'm like, you know what? Joey is like, he would have been Hughie if he had this different upbringing.
And then another thing with Joey is, like, I like to show with Joey and Lizzie the difference in how the world receives the male
versus the female.
The female.
Yeah.
Because Joey, like, Lizzie is no saint, but neither was Joey. And just watching how the world can receive them.
But it's definitely, it's very misogynistic the way.
Yeah.
Lizzie.
Well, I think calling that out is it's needed and necessary, because you're correct. You have these male main characters who can be complex, sometimes mean, sometimes deep, and female readers will swoon over them. Oh, the morally gray guy, we love it, right? But then you get these female complex characters, and they're seen as the villains a lot of the time.
Yeah, it's sad, isn't it? It's very but it's always been that way, hasn't it? Even in real life, in school, you had the loud girl, the girl that wouldn't take any shit, and she was always the problem. You know what I mean? When she wasn't.
Yeah,
do you know?
Absolutely.
Do you ever remember that? Like, you always, or like you had, it in the office, if you were in a working environment in an office and you had like a louder woman, we're always labeled as something, you know what I mean? Too emotional. We're too emotional, or
we
can't control
the Barbie
ourselves.
Movie, Chloe?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you gotta watch the Barbie movie, because there's this great monologue pretty much about how women can't win. No matter, you're too emotional, or you're too soft, you don't have an emotional bone in your body,
or you're too frigid, or you're not feminine enough, or you're too feminine and you're stupid, or you're this, that, and the other. There's always something.
It's a damned if you do, damned if you don't type of
if you're a working woman, you're emasculating your husband. If you're a housewife, you're just using him. You can't win. Like, it's really tough to be a woman. You know what I mean? It's tough to be, like, and especially trying to raise strong girls in this, and strong boys in this society. Like, it's difficult, because I have 3 sons, and I'd be always trying to make sure that they, like, know how to behave, you know what I mean? And like, I have one daughter, and she's really cool though. She's smarter than me, I swear.
No, your daughter seems
she's badass. She's like her dad.
Badass for a mom, absolutely.
No, she's like, honestly, she's like her dad, because he's so chill, nothing shakes him, and then I'm the nervous wreck, and I panic over everything, and then she's very like her dad, like, she's very chilled. And then my son, the second born guy, he's a lunatic like me. He's such a warrior, and he's he cares too much about everybody, he cares so much. And sometimes I wish he was like, don't worry about half this stuff, but then I'm like, pot kettle.
Yeah. Oh, I have a good question, and I don't know what this is, so it'll be good to hear what this is as someone who just came into the Chloe verse in April. The question is, do you still have plans to publish The Irishman with Nikki?
Oh yeah, so Nikki, so we were doing it, and I'm off. I'm terrible to work with. You can ask Nikki. I'm a pantser and she's a plotter, which means that she will plot every scene, every chapter in advance, and then she's trying to work with me, and I'm like a rogue. I go rogue, so I'm like, I could just like go off and be like, yeah, but what if we write this? And I don't even like. She'll give me my my jobs to do, and I'll go with the total opposite of what I was supposed to have done. And then we got to the stage where we're like, this isn't going to work, but we'll figure something out. But I don't think I'm good at working together. I didn't listen to enough Barney episodes.
I'm sure trying to write with another author,
it's impossible for me.
True.
It really is. And I hold myself to like this standard, and I don't want to, I'm really hard on myself, and I don't want to be that kind of a person to my friend. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't want to be on top of, like, and she's excellent in herself, but I think we just have 2 very different styles, but we're always together anyway. But it's just, I don't know if the book will ever pan out. It's not in the foreseeable anyway.
What about 13th Street? Do you have any desires to return and finish Carter Kids?
To Kyle and Lee. I don't know, lads. It's been so long, hasn't it? It's been a long time.
I want to see the triplets need some stories.
I know, Cam and Logan and Colt.
Yes.
I know. I just think I'd have to rewrite the whole series before I kept going because I couldn't cope with like the stupid things I put in. Then when I was younger.
I'm starting the series tomorrow. I'm starting the series tomorrow.
You have to start with Broken though. You have to. You're gonna get the better overall experience if you read.
You know, first. If you start, say, Break My Fall, and then you end on Altered, the difference in the writing from the very first.
Sure.
And like,
so I shouldn't start with Treacherous?
No.
That's the kids.
You're going to get a bigger emotional impact if you read the first gen series.
But they're really not good because the storyline's brilliant, but my writing's very amateur. Very amateur.
I don't care about any
so,
of that.
Olivia and I are the type of people, we don't rate books on writing. We go with vibes. We are vibe people here.
I was like in my Colton Haynes era at the time when I was writing Kyle.
I think if some people saw some of the stuff that I read and love, they'd be like, this is bad. And I'm like, I ate it up. I loved it so much.
This was my favorite.
I listened to... on YouTube, you get story time, but it's like these, like, I think they're like, it's basically romance stories based in Asia, and I fucking eat these up. I eat them for breakfast, and then like, do you know the drama reels? You know, like drama.
I love them so much.
Okay, yes.
And then I buy them. I buy them.
And Nikki and them all are there to me going, you are so fucking weird. And I'm like,
hey, whatever keeps us entertained and sane, right?
And the more trashier they are, the more I'm into it.
Yes.
Wait, I saw one the other day where she left her the mistress stole her baby and left it out in the rain. And I was like, I watched that whole thing. I loved it so much.
It reminds me of back in the days with, you know, the young and the rest, or the bold
and the rest, Guiding Light, Passions.
Like there was this one I was watching on, I think it was Moby Reels or whatever. Anyway, there was these, she was in the hospital bed, the woman, the wife, and she was like literally dying. She was very terminally ill, and he's choking her on the fucking bed, and then she goes, I want a divorce, and he's like, why? And you're like, what? And I need to watch it. Like, I love
Chloe,
it.
you've got to send me the link to this one because I got to watch it.
It's like, and he looks at her, he's like, why? And my dad, I was talking to my dad at the time, and I said it to him, he goes, what the fuck do you be watching, girl? I was like, I don't know, honestly. It was so bad.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely going to need that one too.
So lads, it's so... And I'm bawling, like, I'm so invested in this shit that, like, I'm feeling it all, like, you know what I mean? When she, like, if something happens in these, like, the stories I listen to, like, they're based, some of them are based in America too, but you know they're AI or something like that. They're like, you know, they've got that monotone voice, but I'm like, I'm eating that shit up. And she's like, and then she dies, and then the rebirth thing and all this. I'm learning
the rebirth where she gets to come back and change it.
And I'm totally into
it. You're gonna need to send me this. I'm definitely gonna need
everyone's
to check this out.
Everyone's like, Chloe, this is so weird, and I'm like, I don't care. It's like my guilty pleasure. It gives me life.
Seriously. Whatever helps fuel your brain to help you write.
It's so good, like it really does. And you know, if I'm having a really bad day or like I've had some like something mean comment or something like that, I just go on to these movies.
Oh sure, absolutely. Why
you find this poor woman who's been locked in like a shed for 6 days with a dog, and then she's reborn. I'm like, well, she's having a worse day than me, so everything's okay.
He's got a mistress that's her friend she's donating blood to save her life, but she also has cancer at the same time. I'm like,
oh my god, the blood ones are hilarious.
Oh my
god. And I'm a sucker. I'm crying like a fucking baby, and I've listened to the story 50 times over, and I'm still so deeply involved.
I know.
And I couldn't remember anything off him once I'm finished watching. That's how trash, like, but I love it. You know?
Just go right on to the next one.
I just eat it up, like,
Me too. 100%.
I spent so much money on those fucking subscriptions.
Me too.
I gotta get started on that. You guys are gonna have to send it to me.
Oh, the werewolf ones. The werewolf ones.
Like I told you earlier, Chloe, I don't like conflict and controversy, so if I can hide with escapism, give it to me. Yes. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
I love it.
Or
Love
he's
it.
like, I reject you. And it's
she's
like his maid.
And then she's like, I accept your rejection. And then the cord moves from the hand.
I know, oh my gosh, it like breaks and shakes, and then he like has like
it's when he smells her, when he can be like, it's so good. I love it.
Not to take a detour or anything.
I'm sorry.
So, Chloe, for part of your writing process, I have to know Spotify. How do you do this, and how do you decide what you're going to share with us? And
I didn't see, here's the thing, right? I have always been, from the day one, I write with music. I can't not have music in my ears. And I've always used Spotify as like, it's almost like my, you know, the way some people have a thesaurus, I have my Spotify, and that's how I link my scenes to, so I use songs to link my scenes. So if I'm struggling with getting my words down, I'll find the perfect song for that scene, and then it'll flow. And then I would make a little playlist and mark it for that scene and move on. And I didn't realize for a very, very long time people were watching it. And then I realized, and then I was like, oh shit. And then I started kind of, that's where I feel safest, because you know, there's no badness on, it's just music and vibes. So then that's how I decided I'd start giving little snippets and bits and bobs on that then. And it felt like, because I'm always on Spotify, whether I'm working or not, I'm on Spotify, like, you know. So that was the best thing for me. And I wasn't getting any anxiety to log in to an app and see any, you know, mean stuff. You can't see that on Spotify. So that's why I used it.
And you can control
I get it, 1000%.
You can control what's released and what you put out.
Yeah.
When you do that, when you plan these like massive drops that you've done, do you go in having a plan of what you're going to release, or do you just go based on
go with the flow? It's all with the flow.
Okay.
Everything's my vibe. I run on emotions, which is probably not a stable or like productive way to live, but I'm very emotionally driven, you know. So if I'm in the vibes, I'm gonna, like, I get in so much trouble for for sending out snippets. Even when I was indie, I remember my editors and stuff be like, would you stop this shit? You're giving the whole show away. I'm like, just trust me, I'm not, like, you know, I'm just...
See, I don't think you do. In fact, I think a lot of the times you give us like red herrings.
Yeah, I do.
Because I will think something and then I'm like, oh, I was completely wrong.
Yeah. But I definitely use music to make a statement in a book, you know what I mean? I do drop hints with, like, do you remember Wicked Twisted Road with Johnny? And the lyrics of that song, they couldn't relate more to him if you tried. And and it goes, what was the part in it? It was like, I hit the 1,000,000-mile mark at 17 years old. And he goes, my first love was a warm, sinful night. It really, if you listen to the words, you're getting the story. I just love music. What I always wanted to do was be that person on like TV sets that puts the right songs in it.
Well, that's what I've always thought about, like, because I have a few author friends and they said they listen to music when writing, and I always thought that's what you were doing, was you were picturing this song being played in this scene.
Yeah, that's my thing. It's just like, music is like I don't think I'd be able to write without it. I know I wouldn't. It's a combination, do you know?
Sure.
So it's not like you're listening to a song and then you plan a scene based around that song. It's more of this character fits the vibe of that song.
Yeah, so it's like I'm writing and then I'll be like, so I was writing a scene with Hughie and he was torn between the two of them, and he's in that pivotal moment, will he, won't he? And then all of a sudden then Benson Boone's, you know, sorry, I'm here for someone else, comes in, and I'm like, well, fuck me, that's perfect. Do you know? And it's like perfect for him. Or I could be I could be driving, picking up the kids, and a song could come on, and I'm driving, and literally I feel like I'm being like altered into the book, like, and I'm like thinking this is them, you know, and that's kind of how I vibe with it. you know, if that makes sense at all.
No, it does. It does. 100%.
No, absolutely.
And I think music is so expressive these days. So
yeah, no, absolutely. Music is used for so much right now. Okay, so I guess I have another question about your writing process. With the whole timeline, because let's face it, the timeline plays such a huge factor in this series. Do you write in order, or do you go back and fill in a bunch of stuff? I guess what I mean, like when you write in order, the things that are happening simultaneously, do you write those at the same time so that you don't forget?
So what I do, so I'm weird. So I start a book by writing random scenes and just random sentences, right? So I could have 200,000 words of the book and none of it's in order. And then I have to go back when it's all written and then put it into place like a jigsaw. It's really weird. It makes no sense. And as I'm writing it, I'm linking. So I'm spotting, say, Feely's. You see Feely on a school bus, and I know that's needed for the next book. So I'll just pull up another file, write that scene out, and leave it there. And then when I come, it's there then. You know what I mean? So I'm not forgetting where it goes. But it's literally, it's very loose. Like, I'm very free. I don't have like a lot of restraints on myself. Like, I do what feels right, and that's kind of the way I work. And like it wastes so much time, because if I could just write in order like a normal person, I get things done quicker. But I'm a mess, and I write on my feelings. And if I'm having a bad day, it's hard to write a happy scene. So I'm going to write something dark and depressive.
But I think that's so reflective of your writing.
Yeah,
you know?
And it's relatable, honestly.
Yeah, yeah. I think so. But then it's troublesome then when I tend to have too many words, like even to fit a paperback. It's really hard because of the cost of printing paper nowadays. It's extremely hard to get big worded books published.
Yeah.
So
well, you have so much to say.
Yeah. Speaking of that, have you ever thought, because we know that you do write a lot, in the future, potentially down the line, like a novella of all the unreleased snippets?
Yeah, I've seen that, but I wouldn't want to. Like, here's the thing: I feel blessed that I have what I have from Tommen, and I don't want to monetize the cutscenes. So I feel like if I ever was to do that, I would just remember with Stephanie Meyer, and she had the thing on the website long ago, and you could get Edward's point of view. Remember that with Twilight?
Oh, yes,
Just something like that would be nice, wouldn't it? Rather than just like, you pay enough for books. I wouldn't want to charge.
Rebecca Yarros does that too. She'll put out, she'll write Zayden's POV and she'll put it up as a bonus chapter.
Yeah, I would like to do that, because I think you pay enough for the book. I don't want to take the piss. Do you know what I mean?
And that is why people love you, Chloe, because you're an author that looks out for it.
Well, here's the thing. I know what it's like to grow up with nothing, and I know what it's like to raise your family on the breadline. I know what it's like to have, be scrimping for every penny, and I don't want to be like, I can remember being able to afford one book a week, and I was like, that was all I could afford. My husband would like, he was working, I was at home with the kids, and that was our budget. And I used to be like I'd be it was like I was picking like something divine in the book, like, and then I'd read fast, so it was no good to me, because I'd have it done in 3 hours and I'd be crying till the next week.
Right.
But I can remember that. And then I remember being so poor that I couldn't, this was before KU, I didn't have a Kindle, so I had the app on my computer, and it was like this old basic laptop, and I had no money, so I used to have to download the free books, and I could see all the, the top selling books and all that, and I couldn't get them, so I was like devouring all these free books. And then I remember going to the charity shops and getting all the Mills and Boons and like inhaling them. So I know what it feels like. And I think if you've already put your money into, paying for the paperback, then you should get the bonus chapters. And like I'm in the position where I can afford it. Like, I know not every author is, but I've been very blessed, So yeah.
Oh, sure.
And we appreciate that. As your readers, we appreciate it.
Absolutely. We appreciate everything you've done.
Yes.
Now, I know at the beginning of the summer you kind of teased about going back to 7 Sleepless Nights. Are you still kind of thinking about doing that?
I just feel like I just get the ick when I look back at my older work, you know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, why did I do that? Oh, it's so, you know, and I'm like, oh, Jesus. And every time I look at it, I get so disgusted. And then I'm like, see, my mind runs on like in 100 miles an hour. It's like one day I could have this idea, this day, the next. I would just love to have, I'd love to be able to,
book.
I'd love to write random scenes from that you don't have to write an entire like 200,000 word book on, and just let people enjoy them, you know?
Sure.
But that would probably be something for the website, like maybe a blog or something like that, you know?
Hey, everybody would run.
Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of the website, I know that you're coming back to social media.
Yeah.
Is there a reimagined version of Chloe's Clovers that you see in the future?
Oh, I hope so. But it would probably be Facebook because I'm old school. I can't work all this technology. Like, I know I'm only in my 30s, but like Facebook is like, that's
what we grew up on, right?
Yeah, it's great. But like, I think I loved being able to chat every day with my readers and stuff, and you know, learning everything. But I have to figure out how to do it now on a wider scale. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Without getting too emotionally attached or too emotionally invested in people, and then like oversharing and then having it blasted online. You know, I have to be careful.
Yeah.
You know, it's just it's a learning curve. I have to figure it out, but never say never, you know?
Well, I just know that you have the support of the original Chloe's Clovers and
I know, I love
many
them
other readers.
I love them, guys.
And actually, I think this is a great pivot to this, because I did get a question here that said, what as fans can we do to support you in the next upcoming release in this next year? What can we do to show you? So someone wanted to ask this. What would you like to see as fans to show that they support you, since you don't have that Chloe's Clovers anymore?
I just think that's really nice. I just think I need to make sure that I deliver a book to you that's wordy, and then if you like it, just, you know, giving it a review on Amazon, or, you know, just, you know, what you're already doing is amazing. I can't think of anything more. I couldn't expect anything more from people. Like, what the praise and the love and the support I get now, like, that's mad. It's so cool. Like, what else could I ask for? Like, there's nothing else I could ask for. I just hope for everyone to be kind of kind to each other and just be great, show grace to people with different opinions when it comes to the books, because it's okay to have a different opinion to the next person. Yes. It's okay. Yes. That's the whole purpose of Tommen, to see things from different points of view and to put a load of teenagers together that might not necessarily gel, but have to muddle through, you know, and that's all I want.
1,000%.
And thank you for supporting me. It's amazing. Like, some of them videos are class. Like, I'm not online like TikToks or any of that, but TikToks, I don't show my age, but my friend like Nikki's way older than me, and she'd be sending them to me because she's on it, and she's like, "Chloe, look at this," and I'm like, "Fuck it, that's so cool," you know. But it's class. That will get that would get you motivated when you see people that passionate about your work making videos, and you're like, holy fuck, I can't let these people down. I have to keep going.
Nothing's gonna give you more of a high than that ecstatic, happy, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna run off the couch to go type something when people are hating on me.
Yeah.
You know?
You just want to hide and run away, and like, you know, and you feel like when you have that kind of heat on you, like, not everybody wants to be in the like public eye, and that's I know that's a hypocritical thing to say when I'm an author, but like literally, like, all I ever wanted to do was publish the books and talk to a couple of friends online. Like, it was never meant, I don't think I was ever meant to be on a big platform. It's just not me. And then, you know, it's scary facing the wrath of of the world, do you know?
Yeah.
So it's really scary, but like, yeah, the positivity will boost you when you're like on your knees. It really does help, like, do you know?
And you have to look at Chloe, like, I've met some incredible people because of your book and being
That's
online.
lovely.
Like, I wouldn't know Ashley, I wouldn't know Lou. Like, the amount of messages I get, while I do get some, obviously, it means nothing to the amount of love I get and the people telling me that I can relate to these characters. Chloe's changed my life.
That's so important, though, isn't it? Like, I remember being that age, and there was nothing out there to read that was representing me as an Irish teenager in a mental health crisis. And like, there was nothing there that I could relate to, and nobody talked about it. It was so taboo, lads, wasn't it? Like, mental health was so taboo.
It was probably taboo up until what, like 5 years ago, maybe?
Oh, yes.
I can remember a friend coming to me crying because another girl from the terrace, because we were from a council estate, and another girl from the estate had turned around and told her not to hang out with the lunatic. It's like, you know what I mean? Because I had been hospitalised. Like, that's what you're dealing with, you know what I mean? And that I was trying to break the, what is it, like show people, don't be so afraid of mental health.
Right. Don't judge, you know?
Don't judge, you know, just because you have certain, like, you know, illness doesn't take away from the fact that you're massively able-bodied for other things. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
My grandmother is 93 years old.
What?
And she's going to be 94 in March. And I love her dearly, but she's hardcore Catholic, you know?
Yeah.
Catholic. And there is this stigma of when, like, if I was going through something or had a mental health crisis, I would just kind of suck it up and deal with it type of thing, you know? Because that's what they grew up with.
Yeah.
So having to work on my own, not having a book to read to relate to then was really difficult. So these younger kids who now can have that, or even as an older adult, being able to go back and
heal your inner child.
Absolutely.
It is so important, and it's really life-changing for a lot of us.
Well, for me, I didn't have a big group of friends in high school. I really kept to myself. And so for me, it's like, wow, this like puts me back in high school, but like with friends, you know?
Yeah, I get you. Like, it's showing you, you know, it's like a hug. You know, it sounds really weird.
Absolutely.
It's like a warm
That's what
hug.
It is.
You know?
Exactly. That's what it is.
I think it's important to know that every one of them everyone in the book has a flaw. Like, none of them are perfect, but they all have very different opinions on life, but they're able to come together anyway, you know, and that's what the message you want to give to people, like, especially nowadays. You want to show, you know, that just you can be friends with people who might not have the same opinions as you know?
Absolutely.
Someone's asked if you could recommend us to reread only one chapter or scene in the Boys of Tommen books thus far to prepare for the future books, which one would it be and why?
Oh, that's a really wild question.
I know, right? That's in depth too.
Oh, probably read Joey's scene on the bridge with Lizzie.
Okay.
Why? Because there's loads to come.
Okay.
You heard it here first, folks.
You heard that bridge scene. We've talked about it. Yeah. Ashley and I have talked about it before, and
probably read this. Whatever scene is the saddest for you, read that and be prepared.
So, Chloe, I don't know if you can reveal this or not, but are you allowed to tell everybody what the title of the next book is? Because I know a lot of people are very confused on the T10 C10.
Yeah, I don't really like. So I think it's trying 10, as in, like, it's a 10, and it's me trying to figure out what goes before the 10, and I'm trying to find the best. Is it?
I love it.
I know, but
so
I'm
the
trying
tea
to
really doesn't mean anything right now. It's just a place I
honestly, Chloe, I think you should go back to Clovers, because wasn't it Clovers that came up with redeeming
Clovers
picks?
thought of the names.
See, the Clovers know what we're talking about.
Yeah,
so I say you just go back, ask us for the tea, and we'll give it to you.
Binding was my genius idea, because it was like I was on Rugby, and then I was like, oh fuck, what do I do now? And then they were like, oh, you have to have saving for joy and then redeeming. And then I was like, no, I'm goosed.
As soon as you started posting T10 on Spotify, I was on Google and I'm like, what could a T be? And then I'm looking at words that like have to do with medicine and doctors. Too. I'm looking at tending 10 and all that.
We get so deep into this, Chloe.
Like, Chloe's trying to figure it out 10.
You think you spiral when you're in these books? Just know that your readers are also spiraling while you're spiraling.
For sure.
They feel so real. Like when I'm writing it, like I am, like the last scene in Releasing 10, I was inconsolable. Like snot, tears, like hysteria. And then I come into my, Walshy being home, and he's like, you're right, but don't fucking talk to me. And like, he's done nothing wrong. It's the book.
Yeah.
You know? Oh, God. Did anyone be like that? Like read or watch a movie and the mail has been absolutely horrible, and then you're like, get cranky.
Yes.
All the time. We could get my husband in here, but we won't, because we don't need to hear that.
I do it all the time, like especially those shows we were watching.
My God!
And I'd be like, "What do you want?" And he's like, "I just wanted to know if you wanted a cup of tea."
I know. Or sometimes he'll be looking at me, and I'll look at him, and I'll be like, "Why are you looking at me?" And he was like, "I'm just admiring you."
I know.
Well, I don't want you right now.
It's so crazy. The human mind is a strange thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Is there anything that you yourself could, if you could, that you would like to debunk pertaining to any fan discussions without spoiling anything? Something you've heard that you would like to debunk?
The biggest debunk I would like to say probably would be that Liz and Hugh were always intended to have their book. Even if you go back to the indie covers, it was always the plan. But Liz and Hughie were always Endgame. It's prepped. If you go back through my Spotify, I'm sure I was thinking of the two of them before I even brought out Johnny and Shannon. You know, I had this plot because Lizzie's mental health was like so important to me. Yeah. But I needed to ease her in. She's not a first book character.
No,
you know what I mean?
Not.
She needed to come in when people were invested in the story. So you had to bring in kind of the more, easier to manage characters.
No, I think Johnny and Shannon are a great start.
Perfect start, honestly.
And then you have like Joey and Aoife, who are kind of like more, they're the rough and ready kind of, but the like ride or die loyal ones. And then you have our two little pumpkins, that I'll be
little cherubs. Like,
yes.
And then like they are so young and innocent. They just they're not ready. They're not ready like the rest of them at all. Like, they're still, they've so much to grow up on, the two of them, and we'll see it develop as the books go on. But that does bug me. Yeah, Liz and Hugh were always the plan, but that was always the plan. And you can see it from the indie covers. The characters had their people on them, because Katie and Hughie were like, if you see from the Binding and Keeping films, I nearly said books, they were too content with each other, so it was never going to last. There was always going to be something happening, but the my favorite part of writing those books is the perspectives. So it's you're looking it's to see the world through a different lens, and no two people are the same, and that's the really intriguing part of Tommen, I think, anyway. So
No, the POVs I find very fascinating, especially, with Joey. Joey is the first instance you see, because you had just read a whole duet of Shannon in that household, and then you get to Joey and you're like, wow, there's actually way more going on in this household than you ever thought.
And you know what, especially when it comes to intimacy, between the characters, I think the dual point of view is really important because so without Hughie's point of view, you won't understand his restraint, and it's all important to eat. You know what I mean? You can see his reservations, you can see his turmoil, and without Liz's point of view, you wouldn't understand she's unwell. You know, you just what's up with her? Like everyone in the previous books, like we're looking at her as a viper and stuff, and then you get into her mind and you're going, "Oh, this poor girl," you know?
Yeah.
Right,
so
exactly.
You know, that's just my
Absolutely.
thoughts. I could be wrong, but that's just the way I roll.
No, I think it's interesting. No, there's a reason why.
No, and that's why I'm so excited for the next book to see Hughie and Lizzie's perspectives from the events that we've already seen.
Yes.
Yeah,
like
and
that's what I'm dying to see.
It's like his it's like watching his it's like he's going with it at the moment. Hughie's running on his head instead of his heart. Do you know what I mean? It's like watching him fighting between knowing what's actually for him and what's right for him, because she mightn't be right for him, but she's what's for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I find that really interesting because he's very logical, he's very kind of balanced and stuff. So he knows it's not a good idea to go back into a relationship with Liz, but it's a matter of him which is going to win, his head or his heart. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's interesting, you know? I find that.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
When you're writing these stories, is there ever a time while you're writing it and you are writing a side character that suddenly that side character starts sticking out to you?
Yeah, Gibsie.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Gibsie was... I did not plan at the beginning. I was not... He just grew into a person who could not be ignored, and then he took on a personality and he took on everything, and because of Gibsie, every other character, then I looked deeper at them, but Gibsie was the side character that would not shut up. You know what I mean? And he was just amazing. Yeah, Gibsie.
I love that.
Because like I always I'm going to create an excellent side, like a Robin to the Batman for Johnny, and then all of a sudden Robin is like, I'm here too, you know? And it was really cool.
So then I guess this brings me to this question. Would Gibsie be the character that surprised you the most evolving from brain to page, or would one of the other core 10?
I don't know. I think I could have to answer that when they're all done. You know what I mean? Because I'm not sure yet. I think Gibsie definitely surprised the readers. I think I haven't shown the real Gibsie yet. I don't think people really get. I think Taming doesn't accurately reflect Gibsie. I think it showed Gibsie's mask, and I think Healing will be what shows Gibsie's soul. You know what I mean? I think that'll be the part where you really rip him open and let's see what he's made of.
Interviews with you is what you're saying.
Oh yeah, of course you can, guys. But like I think Healing 7 will be the one where we really take him to peg and, you know, have a good root around in his brain and make him kind of own up to things that he's in denial about, you know, like Dee, like his relationships with Dee, like the way he's processing things isn't necessarily reality, you know, and it's really, I can't wait to crack his head open and we'll have a look what's inside.
Speaking of these Gibsie and these other characters outside of the romantic relationships, is there a friendship or a group that you really think sticks out?
In them, is it?
In the entire series. So like Lizzie, Shannon, you could say Gibsie and Lizzie.
Of the same, yeah. So like the two that stick out to me most are Hugh and Liz, but that's probably because I'm deep in Hugh and Liz at the moment. But then also like the Johnny Gibsie thing is very, very wholesome. They have a very wholesome relationship. I think Aoife and Gibsie, for fun, stick out. They're hilarious together. I
can see that, yeah.
They've been teamed up in 6th year. They're both in the D class, which is like the class with learning support, and they're having the best time of their lives in there, like the two of them. I think Gibsie and Shannon have a very special relationship. But
I do love their relationship.
But I think it's very hard to know Gibsie until we break him down in the next book.
Fair.
You know, because he's always got this mask. He's got a better mask than anyone else. Like, he's got such a good cover up. Joey couldn't keep himself covered up. He cracked with drugs, you know. You had Lizzie cracks under pressure. Even Hughie, every one of them have cracked. Gibsie had one burst on the winter ball, and then he's back to the mask. Do you remember back?
Yes.
Yeah. The guards come to talk to him. His mom's crying. Johnny's there. Everyone's there. He's playing his PlayStation. He's got his mask back on. You know, he needs to have that mask taken off, and it will happen then in his next book. And we'll really, you know, it puts the cat amongst the pigeons, so to speak, and you're going to see him have to deal with things that he hasn't dealt with, you know.
I'm very, very excited for Gibsie's next book.
And like, Claire has to grow up now in this next book, and she has to...
We've talked about that. We talked about how the healing part of Healing 7 is not just Gibsie healing.
No,
Claire's got to do a lot too.
She's been an ostrich, her head in the like, she's been...
And on top of that, she's following him. So she's been following Gibbs her whole life. She adores him. He wears a mask, therefore Claire has learned how to wear a mask. Everything's Gibsie's showing the world everything's great. So Claire's followed him her whole life, and she actually hasn't processed a lot of things that she should have processed, like her dad. She doesn't even pay attention to her dad being in the fucking attic, you know. And then you have Hughie that's like fully aware of everything. So Claire's got a lot to come to terms with, you know. She's got a lot to actually... She's got to accept the fact that it's okay to not be messed up, that it's okay that she's been sheltered, and that she shouldn't feel bad for it. And she's also got to learn to stand on her own 2 feet without the rest of the group. You know, she's got to find out who she is minus Gibsie, you know?
Yes, absolutely.
I think she has to actually love herself a little bit more as well, because even though she puts out this personality and stuff, she doesn't think for herself. Like, Lizzie decided she'd go with Jamie to the date, so Claire went. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
She hasn't figured out a lot of things. She's very, like, and as long as Gibsie stand beside her with his mask and, you know, keep playing that role, she's content to do it. So he needs to put her out of her comfort zone by having a meltdown. You know what I mean? They need to separate in order to heal, if you get, if that makes
100%.
I don't know if you can answer this, but will Healing 7, because Taming 7, we basically haven't really had Claire and Gibsie in the past at all. Will we see any scenes in the past for them?
No, if you do see them, there'll be flashbacks, but Healing 7 will go straight on. Like, Gibsie's the only character so far that in the Boys of Tommen who doesn't go back in the past, because he can't deal with the past. So we can't watch.
I love that.
We can't go back to Gibsie's past because Gibsie hasn't processed what happened to him as a child.
That is great.
Wow, look at you knowing your own books, Chloe.
So imagine that.
So when it does come to the point where he'll have to accept it, like, you're going to see some probably very upsetting memories and stuff come to him, but he's not actually able to live through it, if you get me. So we can't witness it because he hasn't healed or in any way accepted what's happened to him, because he feels like he's been emasculated because of it, because he feels very confused about his sexuality. He doesn't know what, like, he's very confused. And then he's lying to himself saying, I've not been with Dee, I've not done this. He doesn't know what he's done until he can actually open up his brain and go through his memories. You know, because a lot of people will put blanks on their memories. Like, they'll say, this didn't happen because it's safer to pretend it didn't.
Sure.
To protect themselves, you know. And that's why we can't go back with Gibsie, because he can't handle it. He cannot feel, his past is not real to him yet. Like, and he also has to deal with his dad and the betrayal of his mom, because his mother betrayed him terribly.
Oh, I've got opinions on that woman, Chloe.
Opinions on that mother.
Guys, there's a really funny scene.
She is not redeemable in my eyes. As a mother,
but
I do not find her redeemable.
There is quite a funny scene with Lizzie, and in the next book with Lizzie and Claire, and like Lizzie's inadvertently aiding Gibsie by she's like Brian's being a little bastard like Brian is, and Lizzie's like, let's just leave the door open and walk away. And Claire's like, you can't do that. And Lizzie's like, no one will know. Let's just open the door and let God take it. You know, whatever. It's actually really funny. And it's like, even though Lizzie thinks she despises Gibbs or whatever, it's a nice moment. You'll get what I mean when you see it in the book, but it is
I'm
funny.
so excited. So excited.
Speaking of this, and I don't know if this will be put in the podcast. It's how you feel about it. But I don't know if you've seen the theory about Brian the cat.
No, but what's the theory?
There is a theory that
it's
wrote
deep.
Brian. It's deep. It's super deep. This is the thing, people, that you wrote Brian the cat to be a parallel of Mark. He's a metaphor of Mark.
That's actually interesting because he is. Maybe I did on a subconscious level because the cat's pure fucking evil, and he hates Gibsie. Gibsie's never done anything to him. Do you know what I mean? That cat is toxic. Maybe I did. I tend to do a lot of that without even thinking. Even in my own life, my own shit that I've been through, I tend to like create something as a distraction, yet showing some. Like, do you ever try and tell someone something bad's happened without telling them something bad's happened?
Yes.
That's as best as I can describe. Brian is fucking Mark. I'm shook. Lizzie definitely needs to open the door and let him out. Oh my God.
But the use the case, though, you didn't intend to write it.
Not intentionally, but okay. Jesus, wow. That's cool.
But subconsciously, she probably did.
Hey, but I'm a cat lover.
Yeah, but Brian is like, he's demon. He's a demon, Brian.
But Chloe, you've got some cute Brian the Cat merch on your website.
I don't run that. Another thing, that's another debunker. I don't run that website. It's a crowd that are in like partnership or something with Tommen, but that's not me. And I didn't pick the pictures either. They're like, how could Chloe pick those people as Tommen? I'm like, you think I'd pick them?
Okay, guys, there you have it. She didn't do any of this.
Straight from Chloe's mouth.
No, I have my muses from day one, and I can assure you, they don't look like those people on the website. Although the cat is brilliant. The cat's excellent. Yeah. The cat.
So then my question is, with that, people are selling merchandise, and it's obviously, do you get? Like,
I think I get it. From that website, I get a percentage for sure. There's some deal, but like I see other places, no, I don't. It's just off the Boys of Tommen store.
Okay.
Yeah, I know I have a deal with the merch crowd, but I'm actually not. I never see them. It's not even done in Ireland. That's done in America. Through that merch crowd, and then I get like a cut. So I don't know anything about how many shirts have been ordered. It's literally just a link on my website.
You just get your check each month.
Yeah, well, we'll see, but yeah, I just get my cut out of it or whatever it is, you know. Okay.
I just want to make sure you're getting a cut if they're using your name.
Oh yes,
that's what I want to make sure.
No, they're lovely. It's just. Yeah, no, it's just, and I get emails sometime and they're like, oh, something about the store. I have no, I'm literally just the face.
She's just at home writing, everybody.
I'm literally just at home writing. Like, that's it, yeah. Like, literally bought, like, little reflective, the high-vis jackets. I got 4 from my chickens the other day. And I was like, this looks so cute in them.
Oh, it just sounds like so much fun. And such a great writing, like, environment, too.
It's nice. All right, it is.
So, speaking of the pictures on the website, do you have muses for your characters, like what you envisioned?
Yeah, so like my original muses were like just rugby players from, I'm not going to say their names or anything like that because it's gone too big now. It's gone too big.
Maybe you could meet them, Chloe, though.
Hey, who knows?
No, it's just gone to the stage now where it's like, it's gone, everyone knows the books, and like Ireland's a small little country, so like your granny will know this one's granny who's a cousin of this one who's the rugby, you know what I mean? So you have to be careful. But yeah, no, it was definitely like rugby players. And then do you know who reminds me a lot of sometimes of Lizzie is that girl from Outer Banks. Do you know, the blonde?
Oh, yes, I know who you're talking about.
And then your man JJ, he reminds me of like half Gibsie, half Joey.
I can see that, yes.
But like, yeah, I don't really know. But that guy from that My Fault film, he's handsome, isn't he? On the Prime.
I haven't seen. What show is this?
It's called My Fault or Our Fault or At Fault.
Oh, it's a
Spanish one, right? Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to.
It's really good. You should watch it. It's actually good.
I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, I enjoy
it. Is it as good as those reels that I watched?
And come here. Are you Team Comrade or Team Jeremiah?
Oh, I don't want to get controversial up in here, especially because Lou just popped in here. I'm Team Jeremiah.
That's like saying you're Team Jacob.
Isn't that like the equivalent of being Brooke in the whole Lucas Payton situation?
Lou's so mad.
I only watched season 1. I couldn't. My whole thing is, this is not that deep, but I could not get over her name being Belly. That just bothers me so much. Because why is a grown woman getting in romantic situations and her name is Belly?
But then remember Dirty Dancing and we were calling her Baby. You know what I mean?
That's true. That's true.
The Baby I can get on board with. Because Baby is still like a romantic term of endearment. Belly, on the other hand,
I think Jeremiah,
I can't get behind Belly.
Even in the show, I've not read the books, but they're together for 4 years. I'm like, how would you be pining after another guy who's barely interacted with you for 4 years? That's what gets me, you know?
I just love it. I'm just here for the love triangle. I love that. I love seeing.
I love a messy love triangle.
I love brave authors who aren't afraid to, put the book out there that's going to be controversial, you know what I mean? And she has, she's so, she did a great job with that, so fair play, but yeah.
Oh yeah. So this question did come up quite a bit. I don't know if you can answer it, but this basically had everybody freaking out with the Spotify playlist that you just recently dropped. You basically announced that you're going to be doing college years for these guys.
Did I? Yeah.
And so basically people want to know, what can you share about that? Like, what do you envision for the adult college
so my
years?
plan is I have 3 books left of them in high school or in secondary school. And then we're done with that. And then I'm going to take I don't know if I'll get a break or not, but it's just, I want to be able to, have a point in the series where I can take a breather. So it's 3 books, so 7, 8, and 9. And then there'll be a break. And then we'll go forward a few years into college years, young adult years, and we'll pick it up from there. Okay. So there's 3 left. And I'm hoping to get them 2, there'll be 2 for sure next year, and with the hope of God we'll get the 3rd, and just to have it just, it would be nice, wouldn't it, to just have some sort of, not closure, but going like you, Ashley, you said, I can't finish the book at the moment because it's on a cliffy, but you could remember at the end of Keeping where it wasn't finished forever, but you had that contentment.
Yes,
that's what I'm aiming for.
Okay.
Because I'm not a fan of the HEA.
Because my whole thing is, I don't like being left on a cliffhanger when that couple hasn't really wrapped it up yet. At least with Keeping, Johnny and Shannon were resolved, you know?
Yeah, and you could take a breather and you knew they were happy in the moment. It's like a happy for now kind of a thing. And I think that's what I'm aiming for the end of, say, the 9th book. And then we'll take an old breather and we'll see how it goes then after that. And then it would be great because in the older years, then say, I just called it college years, sounds like Saved by the Bell, the college years, but then it would be really cool because you're getting to see Johnny, I can bring in my adoring 13 then, because you're getting the older and older side of him, and that's interesting too because I want to grow with the audience as well. So the way we were 15 in 2005, I want to show them, I want us to be able to relate to them in 2025. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
To get me?
Yes.
Like, yeah, like, because it's, you don't, like, it'd be really nice to see Joey in his late 30s, just having a look, see what they're doing, like, you know what I mean?
Oh, I would love to see Joey older. Seriously.
I know, I can imagine.
I would love to see, I'd love to see some Bigsy
Yes.
too.
I know. Oh, Hughie.
So, Chloe, before we like formally close here, because we'll close here and then we'll say goodbye to you like privately, can you disclose anything for all these crazy listeners out there? Because I know everybody is chomping at the bits. We don't know what you can reveal. You already kind of gave us a big thing with what's going on with the college. We're going to have a big kind of ending, and then we're jumping into the future.
So I don't know what kind of are you thinking?
I don't know. I mean, whatever you feel like you can reveal, or
if you're able, even if you're not able to reveal, is the best place for future like release dates, official release dates, when all of that is set. Title drops, all of that. Is that going to be your Instagram?
But I'm also going to do my website. So like Lex is going to continue to run the Instagram because it's the best for my mental health. And I'm going to start taking, like, I love my website. I was always into the website. So I think that is going to be a good spot too. And I think I'm going to start like take what you guys said to heart now about, you know, maybe offering more random scenes and stuff like that, but Instagram is the place to go to get the information, because usually they have the information before I do. You know.
Okay.
But good to know. And Spotify is always good to find my little snippety boos, you know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I'm so excited. Oh,
but
you best believe, Chloe, that I'm obsessed with that Spotify every day. Refresh to see if you drop something new.
She'll like, Ashley, it's time to wake up.
I like, wake up. Chloe's awake. She's at it again.
Yes.
But one thing I can tell you, it is for Lizzie and Hughie's book is next. That's a disclosure, is it? And Gibbs and Claire is the one after that. That's what I
okay, you guys.
So we can share that with our.
Yeah, that'll be fine. Yeah.
Hughie and Lizzie are for sure next. They are going to be bots 7, and then Claire and Gibsie will be bots 8.
And Claire and Gibbs are bots 8.
Okay. And then you guys did hear, she did say earlier that the high school years will end with a mysterious bot 9. So.
Oh God.
That we don't know what it is.
It'll be, but I can tell you, it's devastating. And happy and devastating.
Oh, I'm sure. You didn't even have to tell me that.
I know. We kind of expect it from you.
And I think what's interesting now is for like Lizzie and Hughie's story going forward, it's very plot driven. Like a lot of the books were character driven, and this one is very. There's a plot. There's like, oh wow, what a gasp horror moment, you know, which is like. We didn't get a lot of that really since the fire in the last book, you know, or in Keeping.
Yes.
You know, so we'll have those.
Oh, I just know that, like, for me that likes to read in timeline order, I got my work cut out for me. This is just going to be...
sorry.
Oh, but I love it. I love reading. That's another thing I tell people about this series. The way that you write it, you've given us multiple ways to read it.
Yeah.
Which I love.
It's kind of like, so there's something for everyone. And you can switch out what you don't want. It's kind of like a jigsaw. You know?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. I love that. Thank you so much, Chloe, for joining us.
You're welcome, guys.
You on again in the future.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yes, anytime. You are welcome here anytime. We are just so grateful for you. And I'm very excited to see everything you're bringing for us and your readers.
And we are excited. Yeah, we're excited for Chloe's Clovers 2.0 to
when it eventually
make a comeback. And we're so excited. We're
just excited to see you happy.
Yeah, you have such an army backing you up.
Thank you so much. I'm doing so much better, though. I really am. So I appreciate everybody's thoughts and prayers and everyone's kindness. It means the world to me. So thank you so much. And I'm doing very well now. So I'm nice and steady.
And we're glad you had nothing but a smile this whole time. You guys, this is going to be a very edited thing, but we've been talking to Chloe for almost 4 hours.
I know. Thank Chloe. I'm so sorry we've kept you hostage here.
It's okay. Don't worry. No, I really enjoyed it.
This was so exciting for me. So exciting.
Guys, thanks so much for having me and for reading them and for having my back and enjoying everything and you know what? You know what's important too for being able to be able to say the parts you dislike as well is really important because the worst thing is to pretend, if you keep pretending that you like something that you don't. I think it's very important to be able to say, I dislike this part, and it's very brave, and I have fierce respect for that. So thank you so much.
Yeah, no, this was so great. Thank you, Chloe, so much for taking the time to sit with us. I know so many people out there were so excited for this, and
thanks, guys.
We're honored. We're honored that you picked us. Thank you. So thank you, Chloe. And now that fall has just begun, and with Stevie Nicks dropping some new music in a couple days, I expect a lot of playlists. So
I know, little witchy vibes. Stevie's back.
Yes.
I just want her and Lindsay to get back together.
Right? I'm like, are they? Please,
did you
do
see,
a tour and
did
then
you see them half like tweeting to each other or something the last
I did. Oh, trust me.
I'm so excited. I'm gonna run out on Friday and get the record.
In my mind, they're gonna go on tour and it's gonna rekindle their great love story and we'll see them fall in love all over again.
I love
I've convinced myself in my mind. That's
when I'm looking for
you convinced them to do this.
When I'm looking for inspiration, I literally go on YouTube and I watch like the 1982 or 1984 live of The Chain and of Go Your Own Way, and then watch the 90. Is it the 97 or the 96?
97. Yeah, Silver Spring. So good. Iconic.
Eye contact. They're my Lizzie and Hughie.
This week is going to be great. So hopefully it inspires you.
Yeah, they're like my Lizzie and Hughie. You know what I mean? Stevie and Lindsay.
I could see it for sure. I could see it for
sure. Well, thank you so much, Chloe. And we definitely hope that we can get you again, maybe very close to the next release date when we have an official announcement.
No bother, guys. Thanks a million. Just reach out and I'll be around.
Yes. All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for listening, and we will catch you on the next one.